Hello, everybody, indeed. Welcome to the Metanorn mini-talk for Gargantia on the Virtuous Planet, Episode 3, The Villainous Empress. I am Jrow, joined by Suisei.
Hey, what's up?
And we are recording this on Earth Day. Happy birthday, Earth.
Yep.
So, launching from Episode 2, which ended with Red's annihilation of the pirate fleet that was invading Bellows' ship, there's some concern amongst the crew and also Amy on exactly just what the heck happened. And Amy is upset with Red because he killed all of them. So she just says, baka, and then runs away. My reaction to that scene was that she asked them to save Bellows, but she didn't exactly think I was sending him to kill these people. She was worried about Bellows' safety rather than the pirates getting killed.
Yep, and everyone's kind of like, well, he went a little too far with that, but at least they saved him, but at the cost of a bunch of humans, which Bellows, explains later on, which we'll talk about later.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that, life on this new planet right now on Earth is very precious right now. And even if they're enemies, it doesn't matter, whatever.
Yeah, and that's what Bellows gets into with Fred as her and Amy also sit and eat some chicken.
That was pretty funny.
Yeah, and talk about killing, and he sort of finds sort of the hypocritical nature of killing humans is bad, but killing animals is okay as long as you kill enough to supply food.
Yeah, and that's always the question was like when you say something like, like he's mentioned before, you have weapons and stuff. It's like, if you got guns and stuff, obviously you have to use them. Like, so to him, he's confused because like in the beginning, he's this warfighter character. He doesn't know how to like live a normal life.
Yeah,
he's always known fighting. So weapons to him are just always killing tools. They're not used for defense or protecting people for him anyway.
And it's almost kind of like a natural contradiction that you could see in real life with killing the pirates. You obviously the benefits of it, but some people are kind of, we shouldn't kill humans or stuff to send messages or anything like that. And
yeah, of course,
you could look at terrorist situations today like that, but obviously Bellows feels that he shouldn't have killed the pirates, and the obvious sort of drawback to killing the pirates is that the other pirates, including Pirate Empress Lukkage, who we get introduced to, is gonna basically launch an attack on him. And
yep, you stirred the fire basically.
Yeah, which is one reason not to kill pirates, especially the lackeys, when you realize the leader of their group is gonna send all hell.
Yep, don't kill the scrubs because you get the main boss.
Yeah, and there's a age chart that we have on the post at Metanorn, and you can see that she's only 19 years old, and I would have thought she'd have been closer to 30 or something.
Yeah, maybe something on this planet. Maybe the sun makes you younger. I don't know.
Yeah,
she was an interesting character. She's got all this tribal war beads on her. She looks like she's like straight out of the Amazon to me almost.
Yeah.
And the funny shot with her is she's sitting in this chair, and each side of her there's these girls like chained up. I'm like, okay, I guess she has a thing for girls.
Yeah, she's
yeah,
she's an interesting character for sure, and we'll talk about the battle she takes part in later. So, what to do with Red? And that's the question that the Gargantia crew asks, and what they quickly realize is that he did that stuff to the pirates. He could do that to us too. So, what bargaining chip could they possibly have unless they say, hey, leave. We want you to leave.
Right. It's like he's basically the equivalent of like a nuclear weapon right now in this universe.
Yeah.
It's like he could wipe you out with a blink of an eye, and you wouldn't even think twice about it. So yeah, at that point they were kind of like, well, what do we offer him? We give him food because he obviously needs food. It's like all this thing they start listing off things they could give him, but I know Amy's like she wants him to like stay on Gargantia. She's like offering him a room, but yeah, Red obviously is kind of like, I don't think I want to do that right now.
Yeah, and Bellows obviously sees the advantage of him being on their side when she actually gives him sort of a device to talk into with Chamber, and gets him to basically help out. And instead of being that nuclear weapon type thing, they kind of neuter his ability to some extent, where he's still very effective against the pirates, but as we see in the action scene, he's not as effective as he could be.
Right, he's just kind of like, I hate using it, but Gundam C is a reference for Kara way he fights in most of the later fights. He basically destroys the weapons. He's not looking to kill you, he's just blowing weapons up. And they even did this in Gundam Age, where he had Flint on the last, well, I don't know if the last arc anyway, but he was doing the same thing. He was just disabling the robots enough so they wouldn't fight. So this is what Red kind of does with Chamber, which was kind of cool. I mean, it's nice seeing a different thing like that.
And we've seen that so often in Gundam, where you have these very strong Gundam weapons, but the pilots inside them don't kill. And I kind of like the way in this series it's handled, because Red is dealing with a society, a group of people, instead of having some sort of righteousness or some sort of emo attitude as your hero Yui's or your Kira Yamato's do.
Yeah, and it's almost like he's basically been given orders, so he's following him to the T. Bello said, "Don't kill anyone," so he's like, "Okay, I'm gonna do that." Yeah. And it just shows that even more military side to Red, that he will obey any order you give him, basically.
Yeah, and that's really what it is that leads him to go ahead and say, "Yeah, I'll help, and I won't kill." And as you can see, Chamber adjusts his combat style to not killing the enemies. And that action scene, a lot of CG is as you would expect in these kind of scenes. I prefer hand-drawn stuff myself, but the CG looks okay here. And Lukkage launches in her special Yumbaroid.
Yep.
The surfing lobster.
Yes. I was like, it's so random. I don't know, but it fits, because when they introduced her earlier, like the lobster pirates, I was just like, okay, this has got to be like a goofy ass crew, right? Like, no, like some of them are, but you got Lukkage, where she's just hell bent on destroying anything. But I'll give her some props. The little jet thing she's riding on is pretty cool.
I'm almost thinking right now, it kind of reminds me, with the slave girls being a part of her plan or her ship, that it's like Kitan and his sisters from Gurren Lagann.
Oh yeah,
how they kind of work together.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty funny. In the beginning we see her, she's kind of pulls one of the chains, and like the girl kind of like makes it, like, he gets hurt a little bit. But later on, you see them like they're all like happy, and I'm like, okay, this is kind of an odd. You're a slave, but you're happy about it.
Yeah, like that S&M stuff.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, pretty much.
And even though I think a lot of us pretty much assumed Chamber was going to be able to beat up easily on these pirates and even the surfing lobster, but they at least did a good job of making enough intrigue to the scene between those two Yunbaroids to make it think that, oh, maybe they can get some sort of advantage on Chamber, but obviously no dice. Right.
He's not, now he's just taking his weapons away. Now he's just a melee fighter character. So you actually, I do feel that when Lukkage is on the side of the wall, the Gargantia climbing up, and Red's on top of her trying to get her off, and she actually grabs his mech and like starts crushing it a little bit. So it's like you said, they did have a little advantage. It's like they know. Yeah, I guess it's pretty cool how he did that. It's neat.
And then he just flings him around, and I thought they were gonna do the star blink in the sky, but you just see it dive in the water.
Yeah, and I was like, man, that's gotta suck. You have thrown in, and like, I don't know, it's funny.
And the fleet commander Fairmont pretty much assumes they're, storming the Gargantia fleet for him, and then later on to Rigid afterward, he mentions her father Chevron. So you got to think that at some point Rigid might be in charge of this operation, and that we might not be seeing Fairmont for the entire course of the series.
Maybe he's from like gas company Chevron. That's something else. Like, I'm like, maybe they named each other after like landmarks or something. Pretty funny.
You probably have some bad gas situation like the BP oil spill or something.
This is true.
Yeah. And then to close off the episode, Red arrives back at his temporary home, which is on the ledge of a boat, and with some big fish provided for him, Amy's giving him food, and he says, "Arigato."
Yeah, that's pretty cool. It was like, he struggled a little bit with it, but he got it out there. I was like, at least he's learning. And that's one thing I took from the episode, that he is learning the language a little fast.
Yeah.
They did show when he was talking to Bellows, he's reading the translation, he's kind of like going along with the conversation, so he can read what's going on now, a little bit, not everything.
Yeah, you could see when he was talking with Bellows earlier that he was just looking down. Like, he wasn't really looking up at her as she was talking, which is a little rude, even with the language barrier, but obviously he was reading and learning the language, so...
Or was he looking somewhere else, you know? Looking down like, oh, this Earth place is pretty good.
Yeah, they got some hot girls.
I know.
What is that red thing around Bellows' waist? Is that just... is that underwear or just something else? It doesn't... The shape doesn't seem right for it to be underwear.
Yeah, I don't know. It's weird.
I'm sorry to bring that up.
No problem.
And then we actually have some other notes, some fun stuff. We usually did this with robotics notes or Eureka 7, but we have one sort of funny note. Pinion getting shocked in the butt by Chamber.
That was hilarious. He's just like snooping around while they're looking at, like, he's explaining the mission. That guy just falls in and he's like, don't get it in the cockpit, and it shocks him. Like, oh my god.
Yeah, that was a really funny scene.
Yeah, I think I've seen something like that before in other shows, but I just can't remember. Where the AI or robot shocks them for doing something. May have been Guilty Crown, I don't know.
You'd be like, don't get inside me.
Yeah.
Get inside my
it's
belly.
Like, only girls allowed, not get out. But then you got Red, so it's like, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's weird.
Alright, so another solid episode of Gargantia.
I can't wait to see what happens next time. Because luckily this series, well, they do show a preview, but you don't really see much. If you've watched the ending video, you kind of miss it sometimes, but which is nice. Like, I hate the shows that do the whole action sequence for the episode, then someone supposedly dies. Next episode, you see him, they're walking around perfectly fine. You're like, oh my god, really? Those are the worst previews ever. But yeah, anyway.
Yeah, I wonder if when Lukkage will come back in what capacity she'll come back to in a series, whether she'll be a constant enemy or whatnot. But overall, great episode. I thought the opening scene, from what I had seen on Twitter and other blogs and stuff, there seemed to be some divide between people that thought that was a ridiculous scene with Amy to get upset after asking Red, hey, save her. I'm perfectly understanding of why Amy would react like that. I think it's in her character, and I thought the conversation with Bellows was interesting, and the way that they got Red to agree to help them was interesting too, because as I mentioned earlier, they realize, he could do this to us, and the best chance we have of fending off this huge pirate attack is for him to actually help. So it's one step toward Ridget and Pinion and the other guys actually being more welcome of Red on the crew.
Oh yeah, they're getting there. He's going to become a part of that I guess family they have there. Yep. Just see what happens next time.
All right, yeah. So for Fosh, I'm Jrow, and we'll see you next time.
See ya.
君の瞳にこの世界は